Okay, I'm going to do podcast crossover here. I'm sorry.
Wait, 2 weeks running?
Yeah, but it's different. Okay, well, first, go find Dual Boot Diaries wherever fine podcasts are found. Second, yesterday over at PC World, we built in that teenage engineering free case, the plastic one that they gave away.
Okay.
Friend of the show, Norman Chan, multiple time guests over here, managed to get an order of one of those, and he was like, "I'm not going to do anything with this. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yes, I'll build a mini PC in that thing."
Did he get the free one or did he get the $9 one?
Well, it's the same one.
There's a huge difference.
Wait, what's the difference?
One of them costs $9.
Well, see, he said his cost $16 shipped.
Well, I mean, I'm being facetious, but like what they did, if I understood correctly, because I just saw this from the sidelines, I think they kind of like surprise drop this and say, hey, free PC case, but we're only doing X number. And it was a very small number. But then shortly after that, they were like, oh, by the way, we're going to sell these two. They're $9. So like, I mean, I'm just goofing about whether he got in on that free drop or not. I mean, it's $9. Who cares? But
the one that we had a big giant cardboard thing on the front that said this is a $9 PC case.
Okay.
Teenage engineering.
Maybe he actually bought it then. But
also, so they're the same case. It's just like one was like the test run and one is the real thing that they're actually going to sell.
Yes, but the free one was very exclusive.
I think he got the free one, but I'm not sure because I don't think the paid one is actually shipped yet. Anyway,
maybe not. Okay.
I built in it yesterday. I built an ITX machine in there over on the PC World's YouTube channel. You can watch that. But bearing the lead, because the important thing out of all this is that we also got a little taste of Selena Gomez in that stream.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah. Hi. Hello.
I don't know how much further we can go down this road of phrasing it that way before this just gets weird.
Look, all I'm saying is I went to Target.
Okay.
Because it's an exclusive partner. I'm not shopping at Target on the reg right now, but we went to Target and they're the exclusive partner for Selena Gomez flavored Oreos.
Sure, yes.
Which are normal Oreos with also a cinnamon cream added to the normal interior goo.
So just plain old chocolate wafers as usual.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have a cinnamon essence just because they've been next to this. Like they're quite good.
It infuses,
is what I'm going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know, I could see Oreo with a tinge of cinnamon beyond, like chocolate and cinnamon, not normally a thing I think of going together, but that sounds okay.
I like a little pinch of cinnamon in my hot chocolate sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Or a cinnamon, like a spice cake, a chocolate spice cake. I'll have some cinnamon and nutmeg in there.
Okay.
But I will say. Apparently I missed the other. This is the second celebrity Oreo crossover they've done, as far as I know.
Oh, who was the first?
So they had Post Malone flavored Oreos earlier this year. Yeah, I missed those, but they were salted caramel and also reported to be quite good.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I like a salted caramel, but the Selena Gomez ones are delish. I'm a big fan. I assume my understanding, the Post Malone ones had artificially flavored. These did not. So I assume that these have like actual, like she's done something is all I can tell.
Real ass cinnamon in there.
Like, yeah. Or hair clippings or something. I don't know what the flavor is, but yeah, we're there. Universally lauded the Selena Gomez flavored Oreos.
Can we get back to talking about PC cases?
Yeah. So you want to talk about the teenage engineering case?
Sure.
It was much better than I expected.
Is this thing made out of plastic entirely?
It is plastic. You fold and like there's a couple places you have to cut, but mostly you just fold it up and snap it into place.
How sturdy are we talking?
I don't think I can get the motherboard out of it that I put in there because it snaps into place in a way that I don't think I can get it off without breaking the case.
Well, hey, for $9, maybe you just break the case.
I mean, but it's a collectible.
You could probably order another one.
Fair. Welcome to Brad Will Made a Tech Pod. I'm Will.
I'm Brad.
I ended up bringing that machine home. I was going to try to use it as my stream machine, it's a 265K and a 860 i860 motherboard.
Man, sounds all right.
It's fine.
It's an Arrow Lake.
It's Arrow Lake, yeah.
How was Arrow Lake doing?
You know, it's worse than the other guys' CPUs, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking for something. I've been working on. Can I make the stream machine? Like, how small can I make the stream machine? because right now it's a mid tower and it's in one of those old NZXT H5510 maybe cases, the small ones. And it's big because it needed to have a full motherboard because I needed a slot for a capture card.
Right.
But I've also been testing USB-C, high speed capture cards, 10 gigabit capture cards.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can I pause to be pedantic for just a moment?
Yes. Hi.
I don't know that I love this phenomenon of referring to USB capture devices as capture cards.
Okay. Fair. That's fair.
I'm actually not trying to be super pedantic. It's more confusing. Like when I hear it, my brain kind of short circuits. I'm like, wait a minute, capture card, but it's USB. Oh, you're just calling it a card.
Well, so the interesting thing, so there's, I'm paying attention to the Linux stuff these days,
mm-hmm.
and this is a prime place to put like a LTS Linux machine setup for me, right? Because OBS runs great on Linux. The weird thing is, PCI Express internal capture cards really, really lightly supported on Linux.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, like Blackmagic support is there, but the consumer stuff that's set up for gamers that can do gamer resolutions like 1440p, generally speaking, not very well supported.
Really? This Elgato card that I have might not actually work. Really?
The weird thing, though, is that the USB standard includes a video capture spec.
Yeah.
So the
UVC.
external boxes, just you plug them in and they work.
Yeah, are you talking about UVC?
UVC, exactly.
What is it? Universal
video connection.
No, not Unlimited Vacation Club. Google, thank you.
Man, I wish I had an unlimited vacation club.
USB video class. I'm sorry, USB video device class.
Ah, there you go.
Is what that stands for.
It's the same as a webcam.
Yeah, yes, that's the thing that makes a lot of USB webcams just work when you plug them in.
So anyway,
nice. Yeah.
USB saves the day there.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I've thought about USB capture devices
mm-hmm.
for a while now because I do give up a whole slot internally for my capture card.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really wondered if it's actually worth doing that versus just getting a USB one because they seem to be quite good these days.
Well, so I'm testing those I'm in the middle of testing those right now for PC World. I have 2 or 3 of them here.
Okay.
And I'm doing everything from like testing capture quality, which really hard to compare, it turns out, because even if you run the same video source through something, the output's different every time because of the way video compression works.
Sure. I guess my thought there has just been you avoid any potential bus contention issues over USB by having the card straight in the motherboard. But how often is that actually going to be a problem these days? Probably not very.
Yeah. How much bus contention on USB do you have? Your 4K camera?
Depends on how many devices you have plugged in, and also how shitty your USB controller is, as I'd experienced on my last PC setup.
Well, that's the big issue. Anyway, yeah. So I it's that little teenage engineering machine because it's plastic. It's really quiet. Like even with fans in it and everything, it's
neat.
Basically silent.
So no vibrations.
Yeah, no vibrations.
Huh.
Only good vibrations.
Of course.
You know what else is only good this month?
What's that?
Electronic mails.
Oh, that's every month. But
I guess you could say every month is Electronic Mails month here at the Tech Pod.
It's for sure. Last week of every month.
Yep. If you have a question for us, you can send it to techpod@content.town. Again, that's techpod@content.town. We have a ripe crop this month.
That's right. A bumper crop. We've said that many times. I got to come up with more.
I don't know.
More metaphors for cornucopia, smorgasbord.
Metaphors.
A bounty.
Yeah.
Probably use that one.
Metaphors for lots of stuff.
Ooh, what do you got?
Accumulation.
Okay. Yeah.
We have an embarrassment of riches. We've done that one before. We have a backlog. We have a boatload. I haven't had a boatload of anything in a while.
An abundance.
Did you have Bonanza when you were a kid? We have a Bonanza of electronic mails.
Oh.
I think Bonanza was a local chain in Northeast Tennessee where I grew up.
Oh.
It was like Sizzler. It was that kind of
weird.
situation. Yeah.
Oh, never heard of that at all. Donkey Kong's favorite restaurant.
The restaurants were always shaped like a barn.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about inside?
Looked like a barn.
Great. It
was barn themed. It turns out you don't have that many barn themed restaurants.
Really playing to the audience in that part of the country.
Yeah. They're look, and it wasn't like a classy red barn either. It was the kind of like, hey, you got some hemlock lumber that turned all gray and real. Looks like if you just brush up against the side of the outside, you're going to get splinters. That's what Bonanza looked like. So anyway, yeah, let's open the email horde. Let's see what we got.
let's dive in here. A horde. Yes, we have a horde of emails.
Yeah, like dragons sitting upon a pile of gold.
Now we're
we
talking.
roost atop our emails.
Okay, I like this. I like the imagery this is evoking.
Somebody will draw this now, and we don't need that.
Okay, first email comes in from Simeon. This is a little problem that he has posed here that we are putting to the audience to see if anybody else has experienced this.
So I've gone back and forth with him on this a lot, and I'm out of ideas.
Because you have not been able to replicate this.
I can't replicate it locally. It's a problem specific to our podcast. This is real inside baseball.
Is it?
But I'm curious if anybody else uses the same stack. And yeah.
I shouldn't say this because A, I don't want to incriminate myself, and B, I might actually just be dreaming this up, but I almost want to say somebody on the Nextlander Discord said the same thing.
About the Tech Pod or about the Nextlander
about
podcast?
A Nextlander podcast? I could be wrong.
Oh boy.
I could be wrong. Let's find out.
You and I talked about this already, because it came in a while ago.
Okay, it might have just been this podcast then.
Okay.
I should actually read the thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
On the Pocket Cast web player, the Tech Pod only has left channel. The other podcasts I listen to aren't affected.
Yeah. More information. They use the Brave browser primarily.
Okay.
And it works right in Firefox, but Brave, it's always left. And they've tested it with multiple headphones, Bluetooth or wired, on the direct link to the laptop and on a desktop. Same problem across the board.
Okay.
So curious if anyone else has experienced this. Please write into techpod@content.town if you have, because like if we're doing something wrong with the audio on the podcast, I would like very much to know about it.
I don't see how that's possible. I mean, I encode a mono MP3 and upload it to Simplecast, and then they take over from there. Did you say it does work right in Firefox though?
I didn't hear it in Firefox on Windows 11. I tested it with the Firefox on Windows 11.
You said for them it works in Firefox, but not Brave.
They said they've been using Firefox as a workaround, but their everyday browser is Brave.
Okay, I'm gonna say if one browser does it right and the other does not, the problem exists between browser and chair.
So all of their other podcasts work fine. I wonder. The thing I wondered is if there's a hidden like a setting that used to be active where you could do balance on a per podcast basis. And then they turned it off on the web version of Pocket Cast or something. Maybe. So there's like a lingering cookie, maybe. Anyway.
Okay. I don't think it would have anything to do with our file though.
Yeah, no, of course. But I'm always a little paranoid about that just in general. Cause like the famous example of the podcast that crashed head units in, I think Hondas or something. 99PI did an episode about it years ago. Mazda's. Yeah.
Yes, it excludes one character that the car's entertainment center didn't know how to deal with and it just would hang the whole head unit every time you tried to play that podcast. Anyway, computers. Yeah. I'll read the rest of Simeon's email here just to. Also, Will is right about letting smart TVs onto the internet. I use a Chromecast with my Hisense model, which is common here in the UK. I updated the firmware and the whole system is now fucked. CEC basically doesn't work anymore. And now there is a stupid art mode which cannot be turned off. I'm annoyed about it. Yeah, for folks who don't remember, get your TV working, update it when you get it, make it all work, and then the moment it works, cut it off from the internet forever. So my Hisense, which I'm actually coming up on, I think 2 weeks from now, will be 2 years since I got it, roughly. Recently, in the last, say, 3 to 4 or 5 months, has developed an issue where occasionally the sound will just stop. Whoa. And I have to reboot the TV to get sound back. That's wild. So, yeah. Updating smart TVs. I don't know. I might, I'm seriously thinking about, I happened to look at the Mac Rumors Buyer's Guide the other day, as I sometimes do. That's a mistake. Yeah, I'm due for a refresh on practically all of my Apple stuff, short of like maybe laptop. Like you got a phone a couple years ago, right? Yeah, I've got the third gen SE. SE, yeah. So, but I heard that notch is all the rage these days. I might have to see what that's about. Kids love a notch. Yeah. But I mean, like my iPad is like basically unsupported at this point, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, apparently an Apple TV hardware refresh is reportedly imminent. Mm-hmm. And I might thinking about maybe grabbing an Apple TV when they put out a new one. It's funny. The one that's hooked up to the bedroom TV is a original 1080p model. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think, an A4 processor. Okay. Oh, that's pretty old. Feeling a little pokey these days. And I was looking at swapping out, but I'm going to hold off and see. Yeah. Sounds like maybe later this year, they think. Makes sense. Anyway, I'm just thinking about getting the Apple TV and then just never thinking about the capabilities of that TV again. It's incredibly freeing. Yep. And all I have to do is give up one HDMI port. Mm-hmm. All right. Here's a good email I thought from Beach Rave. For the person trying to teach a computer class, I suggest using old computers. They can be obtained for cheap or free, can still do useful things, and the kids can bang on them without destroying expensive equipment. Learning how to install and use Linux was a formative experience for me, and it teaches a lot of fundamentals for anything beyond using an iPad. I think I might add to that like using older hardware might force you to, this thought is not fully formed, like you have to go kind of minimal on older hardware. You would have to put like a pretty minimal, like say Linux distro or other operating system on there, which might be a good way to teach some basics.
Yeah.
You're not going to put like a full Windows 11 install on a much older computer, for example. Like it might be a good way to kind of teach from the ground up to have to.
I can see that.
Go a little more minimal on old hardware to start.
Well, and if you're doing other kinds of like computer learning, you could do like you could put something like Chrome OS Flex or something on it to do
for sure.
Like web-based Scratch or whatever coding, and then you're good to go.
That's the kind of thing I was thinking. I thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah, it's a neat idea.
All right. Asmund from Norway. I was lucky and got my hands on a 28-inch CRT that was about to be thrown out.
Oh, my God.
It has RCA composite, S-Video, RF, and SCART, and 2 big front-pointing speakers. You did get lucky. That's like all of them.
Yeah, the SCART alone, like, I mean, obviously you're going to get SCART TVs, but that's a banger. Short
of component, but you don't really need component and SCART at the same time. I was wondering about using it with a Mister instead of using it with the different consoles I have in storage bins. Guessing my best option is to get a VGA to SCART cable, or is it better to use RCA or S-Video? We can just take these questions one at a time. I guess that comes down to preference. I don't think I've ever actually seen SCART in person, so I can't speak from experience, but my immediate gut instinct would be say SCART, because back in the day when CRTs were new, I always wanted the sharpest, cleanest signal that the TV would support. But I know even people that are active, like very active in the retro game space that, for example, prefer S-Video to SCART. Some people seem to think SCART is a little too clean, a little too sharp.
You need a little muddy in there.
And then, of course, I mean, I think these people are crazy, but there are people who grew up with composite or RCA and actually prefer that look the best, even though it is by far the fuzziest of all of those, short of RF, which I don't think anybody should use.
Well, I mean, I use RF because my TV one of my CRTs only supports RF, but for Mister purposes, you can get the analog board and use the VGA to SCART adapter. Yes. Like they're readily available on the Mister add-on site.
Yeah, now it's worth knowing you need a specific VGA to SCART cable to use with the Mister. I forget what the specifics are, but it needs a certain resistor in line on the cable to work right with the specific Mister setup. But Mister add-ons or any of Ultimate Mister, like any of those Mister vendors, have the right SCART cable with the right resistor.
So you're in Europe, so my guess is you're probably not going to buy from Mister add-ons because they're in North America, and that seems fraught right now.
Right.
The standard spec has a VGA output, I believe, right? Yeah. But the Mister add-ons new analog card runs everything out through that Saturn Mini DIN 10-pin.
To summarize, Mister add-ons has done kind of his own upgraded design to the I/O board. Yeah. It requires a different cable, but if you're getting like the reference Mister analog I/O board design, I believe that standard VGA to SCART cable should work. Anyway, I don't own a Mister yet, but I'm wondering about getting one of the clones, like the Mister Pi. The Mister Pi seems perfectly fine if you can get a hold of one. Everybody that I have seen that has one seems to like it just fine. There's another company on AliExpress that is also making Mister clones, like independent of the Mister Pi outfit. You don't have any idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I stopped paying attention to what's going on AliExpress because it's basically unattainable to those of us in the United States now.
Oh, right. Yes, there is that. QM Tech. Yeah, that's what I thought. So QM Tech is the other company that, in fact, I think came out with clones for the Mister before Retro Remake, the Mister Pi company did. So those are also out there. I as far as I know, all the clones are just fine.
Okay.
But I can't say for sure. Lastly, do you know if I could use a PlayStation snack adapter to get light guns to work with the CRT on the Mister? The gun connects by the yellow RCA cable, so I can't use SCART, I guess, if I want to use a light gun. That is way outside of my wheelhouse. I looked around a little bit on Reddit, see what I could find. Here's a random person who says, I use a GunCon 1 with a PlayStation snack adapter and a YC active encoder to hook the Mister up to a CRT TV. That's all you need. So I would say more research required there, but I believe it looks like tentatively you can use Snack is the thing on the Mister that lets you use original controllers, like plug in your actual controllers straight into the thing.
Yeah, but my understanding is that like you can't use a zapper with the Mister on the Snack.
Wait, you mean like the NES zapper?
Like, yeah, the NES, you can't use like an NES zapper with a Snack.
Yeah, that may be true. It sounds like what he's talking about for PlayStation light guns that would work though. Anyway, it sounds like everything he's talking about is possible. All right, next email, Tom from New Jersey. I've heard you discuss your ripped Blu-ray collections. I used to maintain a collection myself, but fell off for some time. At the time, I used Handbrake and any DVD and was content. After a clean install of Windows, I realized I can no longer install and use any DVD, which has made Handbrake ineffective. What is your process for backing up your Blu-ray collection?
So I don't do a ton of backing up anymore. I don't know what you're at.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Unfortunately, at this point, my process is that I don't have a process. I have to tell you, getting a 4K TV kind of made it feel pointless to rip Blu-rays because
you're just all streaming services all the time.
Well, I mean, 1080p looks just fine on a 4K TV.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't really tell.
But well, look, I mean, it's less the 4K and more the HDR. Honestly, like
the HDR is nice.
HDR is a way bigger like perceptual difference than 4K. I mean, you can definitely tell the difference on a really nice 4K transfer, but it's feeling like the 1080p rips are suddenly obsolete, and then also 4K discs are. I don't want to own more 4K discs, and those files are gigantic. Like I kind of just don't want to deal with it anymore.
They are really, really large.
Yes. So I've fallen off hard from ripping discs in general and just have kind of been thinking about, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Looking at all those hard drives in your Plex server and thinking, what if I didn't?
I kind of been thinking like maybe I bought too many hard drives, to be perfectly frank.
Oh, wow.
But I know, right? But I was using Make MKV, and I believe you were as well back when I was doing a lot of ripping. I think that's like the de facto standard for ripping discs these days.
Yeah. So any DVD had, they realized that they had a finite number of users and did some janky, some unfortunate, like basically sunsetting of what should have been lifetime licenses. About 10 years ago now, 10 or 13 years ago. And then they,
that sucks.
They did it again.
Okay.
Make MKV is I think it's a single person that makes that. It's a really, really phenomenal tool that basically you load up a disc and it gives you the entire structure of the disc, and you can pull out just the audio and video streams that you want.
Yep.
And then it dumps them all into an MKV file that you can then feed into Handbrake to recompress, or you can just leave them in an uncompressed MKV and chuck them on your NAS if you want.
Yep.
Now Make MKV had some problems too, because Mike, the guy that makes Make MKV, sometimes disappears for weeks or months at a time.
Interesting. So I haven't used it in a few months, but it's got this interesting thing where it's technically still in beta. Like you can give him money for it, but it's in perpetual beta. It's been in beta for years and years. And on the forums, there's a pinned post that says Make MKV is free while in beta. And every 2 months, the current beta expires and you have to go on that forum post and grab another key.
Yeah.
And put it in the client because it won't run every 2 months. It basically says like this copy is expired and put a new beta key in. Maybe I think I might see where this is going. There have been times where for like a day or two he hadn't posted the new beta key on the forums, and so nobody can use it for a couple days.
So, and the benefit of paying is that if you pay, then you get a key that's good forever.
Yes.
So he didn't post the new beta key, and also the store ran out of forever keys.
Oh, interesting.
So people kind of panicked for a minute.
Okay.
But then he showed back up again and posted a new beta key that's good through the end of September. So we're back on the normal schedule. Everything seems to be cool with Make MKV again.
That is like that's a real XKCD like load bearing Jenga tower block situation of a whole lot of people rely very heavily on that software at this point.
So there was a big giant thread in the Make MKV subreddit that I found that was like, hey, what are you guys using instead of Make MKV? And there were a bunch of people in there, but it is like, it almost feels like we've gotten to the point where the tools to do the ripping, it's such a pain in the butt to rip 4K discs at this point, because you have to have specific drives with the right firmwares, and like there's a whole black market in people selling the right firmware on the right drives, and optical drives are getting kind of hard to find now too.
Wait,
on just in general, like they're not like CRT level where they're not making them or anything anymore, but like the number of drives that you can rip discs with is relatively low, and none of them are shipping with the right firmwares on them anymore, or it's not guaranteed that you're going to get the right firmware on the right drive anymore. So like you have to do some shenaniganry to make them work, and people are selling those drives.
Sure enough, I'm looking on Amazon. Oh my God, you're right.
There were never a ton of 4K Blu-ray drives for PCs anyway in the first place.
The internal LG BD-ROM that I have, or actually it's writable. It is a rewritable. No longer available. Nor is the slightly more expensive upgraded model. I mean, it was like $50 when I bought it in 2018, according to this Amazon page. It's now third-party seller only for $155, and the other model is unavailable.
Well, the Blu-rays weren't that hard, but the 4K Blu-rays were challenging always. So anyway, it's getting to a point where it's kind of hard to do, and like I actually think that the people who are, the pirates are just stripping DRM from the download services files or analog running them through non-HDCP monitors and capturing the feeds directly out of the playback video or something like that. I don't know exactly how they're doing that. So it's again the situation where the people who buy the discs are going to get screwed, and it's not going to impact the pirates at all. So great, good job, everyone.
So I did that firmware flash you're talking about when I bought that $50 drive a few years ago.
Yeah.
And those drives like this, it's mine was an LG WH14NS40. And so those basic Blu-ray drives actually could be upgraded by firmware to read 4K discs. So it was only like $50 and like a little bit of your time to do the firmware flash to get a 4K reader. But now that those drives are unavailable, suddenly that has actually, I'm shocked to see that has become substantially more complicated now that these are not so easy to find and have gotten way more expensive.
Well, when you look down the case aisle at Micro Center and there's only 3 cases that have 5.25-inch external drive bays, you understand why there's not so many optical drives for sale anymore.
Yep. Man, now I kind of wish I had bought a backup.
Well, I have 3 in my garage, so let me know if you need one. Yeah. We're good.
Sounds good. All right. Brian from near Seattle. My biggest memory of Windows 95 is me in the dorms. I was starting my sophomore year at the University of Illinois, the birthplace of NCSA Mosaic. I was a student net tech. My job was going to other students' dorm rooms and getting them connected to Ethernet and the internet. The previous year, helping people do it via Windows 3.1 and Trumpet WinSock or Windows for Workgroups 3.1.1 with TCP/IP often had challenges. Wait, I have to stop this email for a second. Did Windows for Workgroups 3.1.1 ship with TCP/IP?
It had TCP/IP, but you didn't. It didn't have a dialer. Like you couldn't slip. You couldn't do the. You needed other software to get the terminal sign, a hyperterm or something
to actually connect to something.
Yeah,
wild. I did not know that. When Windows 95 came out, it made TCP/IP way easier. I helped countless people get online. Oddly, I almost never saw a Windows 95 box or official CD. Everyone just somehow got it installed. That thankfully wasn't my concern.
Did we talk about the pass key just being 111111?
Yeah, we came to discover that. I don't know if that has to be an official thing because I think these were like official legit ISOs we were downloading to use an 86 box, but like,
or maybe somebody hacked the ISO.
It's possible, but the thing I read that off of said you can just use 11111111 to install Windows 95 or plus, like all Windows 95 products or however it was phrased. Like they kind of implied that anybody could just do that. I don't know. I was a little confused, but anyway,
that's cool. The people who did that at University of Tennessee, we didn't have wired dorms while I was there, but the kids who did that after they wired the dorms were literally like they were very kind people because that seemed like a horrible job to go door to door in the dorms and hook people's stuff up,
especially on Windows 3.1.
I can't imagine doing it on Windows 3.1.
Sam writes in, I recently stumbled onto the concept of cyberdecks. This is essentially scratch building and enclosing a portable computer, usually in a cyberpunk fashion. Just curious if you guys have ever heard of this, what your thoughts on it are, and would you want to do something like this yourselves? I'm just a tad bit curious, but I've never built a PC, let alone a faux laptop. Yeah, so, my understanding of the cyberdeck is it's like, I don't know, imagine like the Henry Rollins character from Johnny Mnemonic, for example. It's like what
imagine.
It's like, oh, wait, are you saying you are him?
No, I'm just saying you keep imagining. Go on.
Yeah, okay. It's like what he would roll around like with that hanging off of his belt or something, or like attached to like the chain on his belt loop or whatever. It's like your little portable cyber hacking terminal that you would like plug into the local ATM to hack money out of it, or you know what I mean? It's like there's a Cyberdeck subreddit. You can go see what these things look like, but people are basically just like making little mini computers look as like cool and compact and cyber as possible.
So this is a concept directly lifted from William Gibson's Neuromancer trilogy.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that.
The Ono Sendai decks were the desirable ones. What somebody made a Sandbenders, I believe, was the one that the hero used. I can't remember.
I should really read Neuromancer.
You should really read Neuromancer, but
probably.
But yeah, so people build them like in the old days. People would build these as kind of cosplay props for people who wanted to dress up like console cowboys, I think is what we called them back in the 80s.
Sure.
But now, because SoCs have gotten really small and you can buy screens and tiny keyboards and all this stuff, people are building actual functional computers, either off Raspberry Pis or other similar SoCs, and making these things functional real computers that you can plug into the network and do all sorts of stuff. They're really cool.
Man, there are some really fucking cool designs on this subreddit. Like a lot of them are just kind of hacked and cobbled together, but like some of these look like there have been actual like injection molding or at least 3D printing done on some bespoke cases. Like that one I just sent you that's got 2 screens on it. Looks like a prop out of a movie. Like that's pretty rad. I might just make this the show art.
The one, there's a bunch of people that actually sell this stuff too. Sell kits for these that are like 3D printed frames for Pis and other microcontrollers. Carboncomputers.us does a bunch of them. I've never actually bought anything from them, but they've been around for ages and do like runs of nice resin printed cases so that they look like real made things. Yeah, and they have both like sandwich style, like 90s style PDAs, like those old Casio PDAs that would flip open, or Sharp PDAs that would flip open. And then also more kind of slate style designs. And they're kind of cool. Like, honestly, kind of that dolphin, the dolphin hacker thing is kind of fits in this category too, if you ask me, right? Like the dolphin flipper.
Flipper Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although that thing, I always feel like I'm going to get arrested if I have one of those and use it for something.
I mean, I'm going to go and tell you, it's how they're stealing a lot of cars with them these days.
Really?
Yeah, because you can clone people's radio signal when they lock and unlock their car.
Oh, so you have to. I was going to say, do you have to like be waiting in the bushes basically to like capture the signal when they use it?
My understanding is that depending on the car and the range and where you put your keys in your house, they can stand outside your front door and catch your beep. And anyway,
that's intense. Can you even get cars with like physical keys anymore?
They all have physical keys.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like my car has a physical key. You just have to pop open a thing to get to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might stick to that.
It seems like a real pain in the butt.
Yeah,
Also, all you need to pop most car doors is a pretty good sized screwdriver and enough torque to just force it open.
Well.
Oh, yeah.
I guess we're all boned then.
Locks are just locks are not for security. They're for disincentivizing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Neurotica. At the most basic level, I understand that when I'm playing on xCloud or GeForce Now or whatever, I'm remoting into some kind of virtual machine on a server rack somewhere. My question is more related to the differences in quality that I see between these services and what impacts that. For example, if I load up the xCloud Game Pass version of Avowed, there is that classic streaming haze and streaming artifacts, etc. But the GeForce Now version, also through Game Pass, seems like it's local. Caveats for this example: same device accessing both services, which is a Steam Deck, same internet speed. So I assume that comes down to various codec and video compression settings they're using, like probably some streaming protocol stuff plays into that in some way as well, but it's probably primarily video compression, I had to guess.
Well, yeah, so there's I did some research on this afternoon. I was looking into see if anybody's posted like white papers or anything explaining how their stuff works. And it's all super proprietary and no one's shared anything.
That's what I figured.
I know that Google specifically, when they were doing Stadia, wrote a whole new video codec specifically for low latency video streaming and compression.
Yeah, I believe that.
I also know that for a while when Microsoft started the xCloud stuff, my understanding was that they just had a whole bunch of Xbox Ones in racks in a data center someplace and were connecting people to those remotely. And I'm sure that that's not the case anymore, that they're time, they're doing the thing where they have multi GPU, normal rack mount machines that they're time slicing CPUs and, giving one GPU or a slice of a GPU to each of the xCloud clients. I do know that when you upload your game to Microsoft, you're not there's not a separate xCloud version, right? So they're using the same package that you use for local play on a normal Xbox on xCloud. But the TLDR on this question is that there's a lot of variability in bit rates and compression settings and codecs that you use and the way they compress, and the balance of quality to latency to speed is going to vary wildly based on your distance to the data center and the connection you get on a given day and what their load is like on any given day.
Yeah.
Because there are days that GeForce Now is just doesn't accept new connections, right? When they're really busy and under high load. So,
right. Yeah. I guess I'm not surprised to hear that GeForce Now is better quality considering all the work NVIDIA has done on the NVEnc.
It makes sense.
Real-time compression for streaming in their cards. So they've got a lot of institutional knowledge there.
Low latency, high quality streaming is part of it turns out it's funny because when VR stuff started and we were looking at the latency on any kind of H264 compression in 2015, 2016, it was so high you couldn't do live stream video with head tracking because it lagged too much and people got immediately motion sick.
Sure.
And the difference in compression times per frame over the last 10 years is incredible. Once there was a use case for lower compression time per frame, people started focusing on that. And now that's fractions of 10, 12 milliseconds in some cases.
Yeah. There's been a tremendous amount of work on that stuff. And like you said, a lot of it is proprietary. Remember Mixer?
Yeah.
Mixer had its own streaming protocol called FTL.
Mm-hmm.
Before they got shut down. I know Parsec, if you've ever used Parsec, they also have their own, I think they have the Bud protocol.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, all these companies basically, like you said, are kind of writing their own stack for this stuff. So there's a lot of competition in that space.
Yeah. And it's all super proprietary and they don't ever talk about it.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Understandably so. Wash in the Wind. I guess you could kind of maybe PS this one off the back of that Windows 95 email. This is all caps. Talk about Bonsai Buddy.
Do you know what Bonsai Buddy was, Brad?
Yeah, yes, it's a delightful little purple ape that promised you a prize if you were only to click a few hundred times. I can't remember exactly how
he
it
would
worked,
do things for you.
I never clicked that stupid thing, but that was something you installed, right?
You installed it. It was
That's
malware.
Right. I think later it became a lot of banner display ads, right?
I think it replaced ads. I think the way it was malware was it replaced ads on your desktop. The guy who made it, the Bonsai System team, rather, it was created by a pair of brothers named Joe and Jay Bonzi.
Oh,
and it would share jokes and facts, manage downloads, sing songs, and talk, among other functions. But it was based on the Microsoft Agent technology that was originally built for Clippy.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say this. I was just imagining a giant paperclip here instead of a purple ape.
Yeah, so there was a lot. It's funny. There was kind of a lot of stuff like this that was designed to make computers easier to use, but actually just annoyed you.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple people were talking about Bonsai Buddy in a stream I was in the other day, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about Bonsai Buddy because he's a little purple ape. Was his look.
Man, apparently they were sued and fined and all kinds of stuff over the invasiveness of that software.
Turns out malware and spyware in the early 2000s very popular.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
it was the Wild West.
Yep.
All right, last email before we move on to some Discord questions. From Tommy Tank. I asked this on the Discord, but this is about a previous user, to be clear. This is about presumably a separate user. This is not the same user with a different username, I don't think. But this is about a different frequent questioner on these episodes. I asked on the Discord, but does Brad know a tactical tug, they've sent multiple emails into you, means to wank sneakily? Please put my mind at ease and that Brad is just a naive and innocent lad.
Okay. I thought that this was some sort of military tugboat.
I also
Yeah.
You and I talked about this beforehand, and we both immediately agreed that we had both visualized a tugboat every time we read that username.
This is one of those classic, hey, thongs mean a different thing in Australia than they do in the United States. Yeah, I've never heard this phrase before in my life. So apologies to all of our, I'm guessing English or Australian or maybe New Zealand listeners for whom we've been reading a wildly inappropriate username for the years. It's like, maybe lightly inappropriate. Mildly inappropriate. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
Here's all right, Discord questions. Here is a kind of companion question to that earlier question about ripping discs from Narfinger. What do you do with old DVDs that you don't want anymore? Looking on the used market, DVDs are worthless. I would donate those things to a library.
So I disagree with the idea that used DVDs are worthless.
Okay, go on.
The DVD era represented in many ways the high water mark for bonus features and extra stuff.
True. That's actually a pretty good point.
Like DVD commentaries are unmatched. The Blu-ray era, we still saw some, but like a lot of those are only distributed on different DVDs. As an example, there are a couple of movies that I have like 2 or 3 different versions of on DVD that I got for pennies on the dollar because of like a commentary by a specific person or people. So yeah, like for example, the Criterion edition of Armageddon has a commentary with Ben Affleck where he is just absolutely shit-faced and just describing everything that happens on the screen. It is very, very good.
I've heard about that actually. I think that's pretty legendary. I should probably check that out.
It's an all-timer. But yeah, like the thing I haven't done, which I should do, is probably go out and pull the commentary tracks from the old DVD rips and then resync them with the other ones.
That's exactly what I was going to recommend.
But it just seems like a huge pain in the ass, and I'm not going to bother it.
It's not that hard.
The thing I have done, so I don't have a bazillion jewel cases around, is I've pulled all of the discs out of old jewel cases, and I have them in like hanging files, basically, for discs. I did that for Xbox 360 games and PS2 games and PS3 games, and all the old games are in that category too.
Yes, I did the same thing with. I have dozens of old music CDs that I did the same thing with. They're all in a giant Case Logic binder with all the liner notes just kind of shoved in the front now. Yep. But if you really don't want those discs, like I said, like see if your local library will take them, because a lot of people will still watch DVDs.
Yeah, it turns out my library loans a ton of DVDs out all the time.
Yeah, I believe it. SFPL, I always call it SFPL. SF Public Library also still has like huge shelves full of DVDs.
Yeah, and Switch games apparently. When I was in the San Francisco library the other day.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
Also, I think we've talked about this before, but for people who live in California, at least, like get library cards every time you go to another city.
Yeah. You have mentioned that, but do you have to physically be there?
You have to physically be there in person, I think, for most of them. But like Sacramento and LA have ridiculous ebook collections.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, next time I am in LA, I am totally going to the public library.
Yeah. Libraries are cool, man.
And signing up for that while libraries still exist.
It means that when I hit a library hold on Libby, then I usually get the book that it's like, hey, it's going to take 3 weeks for this one. I usually get it in like 4 days. I'm reading Mike Drucker's Good Game Well Played, his kind of memoir.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, hey, this is going to be 23 days at my San Mateo County library. And then 3 days later, I got a note that was like, hey, we found this earlier for you and blah, blah, blah.
Wait, can Libby just cross-reference multiple libraries that you have memberships at and just like give it to you from whichever one is up first?
When you search, it tells you which one's going to be first. And then sometimes you get a notification that's like, hey, we can get this earlier here. Do you want this?
That's pretty rad.
It's pretty rad.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Question from Fishy J. Prefixes or suffixes?
Oh.
It's a broad question.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah. Where does your mind go when you hear that question?
Well, prefixes, I think about pre as a prefix.
Okay.
And suffixes, I think about es as a suffix.
Yeah, that's quite literal.
So like, it's hard to say, right?
Yeah, I mean, my computer brain, I immediately go to like, internet protocols, and I'm trying to think like what comes immediately. Well, what comes immediately to mind is like in the open source world, like lib is a very common prefix. Lib retro, lib shit.
Yeah,
Now, there have
yeah.
been 10 bajillion of them, and now I can't think of any of them. Like libpgp, or like it's for short for library, right? Like libc, for example, this is the standard C library. Like the suffix that comes to mind is D.
D's what?
As in demon.
Oh.
As in system D is the infamous example now, but I'm trying to think I think there's probably like mail D or journal D, or I'm trying to think of anything that ends with a D means it's like a background server process type thing, and that's cool.
I was thinking about file name extensions, like as a suffix, it's very descriptive, right?
Yes, indeed.
But then for prefixes, I think about like classes when you're writing like Python, like little functions or something, and like you want those prefixes. Those prefixes are really important because it's how you keep everything organized. Sure. So I'm going to go with prefixes because
all right.
You know what doesn't, what suffixes don't help with?
What's that?
Type ahead. Tab completion.
I guess that's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless suffix is useless for tab completion. But prefixes vital.
Have to use like regular expressions or something to make the suffix work for that sort of thing.
I'm never going to do that. Nope. I'm never going to learn how to use regular expressions.
I'm looking at what Ds I have running on my NAS right now, but they're mostly all components of System D. So that's like kind of boring. Resolve D, System D, Network D, Login D, UDEV D.
Never thought you were going to list all of the Ds.
Yep. Well, here we are. Avahi DNS Conf D. There's a lot of Ds.
Oh, that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, PatMac 19, which I wouldn't have known how to pronounce if they hadn't included a handy pronunciation guide here. What is the default pickle relish? I was out to dinner with some friends, and one person ordered a burger with relish on it. And when it came out, after taking a few bites, was grossed out that it had sweet relish.
Ew.
The rest of the party was split. Some, myself included, said that sweet relish is the default. The others said dill relish is the default. Everyone agreed the menu should have said what kind of relish it was.
Okay. I went to the baseball game last night.
Okay.
And I got a hot dog, a bratwurst, I guess technically, as one does.
All right.
And they asked me what I wanted on it, and I said relish and mustard. And they said, "Oh no, we only have onions and peppers that are grilled or sauerkraut." And I was like, "Okay, give me both of those because that sounds great."
Mm-hmm.
Now my take on this is that the default relish depends on what you're eating. So a hot dog default relish, definitely sweet relish.
Really?
But a burger default relish has to be dill. It's too much sweet for a burger.
I don't know if I agree about the sweet relish on a hot dog, though.
What?
I don't know.
Sweet, like if you say, "Hey, I want a hot dog with relish," and you don't specify dill relish, it's going to be sweet relish 99% of the time.
I guess you're right. I'm not talking about what's common. I'm talking about what I like.
Oh, I like dill relish across the board better than sweet relish.
Yes.
100%.
Extreme same.
But I'm the only one in this house that feels that way. So
really,
I live in a sad world of sweet. Like if I want dill pickles on a hot dog, I got to slice up a couple of dill pickle spears.
Yeah, I get it.
Which is a fine way to do it.
I kind of grew up not liking sweet pickles of any kind, honestly.
My mom made sweet pickles that were real good.
I mean, they can be very good. Don't get me wrong. But it was pretty much all dill all the time in our house.
See, we were all sweet and sour. Like burgers would be a jar of mom's pickles. Mm-hmm. And they'd be sweet and sour pickles on a burger, which is pretty
interesting.
Good. Pretty
interesting. Good. All right. I mean, I can see the sweet relish on a hot dog if you have enough tart to cut it with.
Mustard, mustard counters it out, right?
Yeah, onions and mustard. And I've become very partial to the Chicago hot dog.
Chicago hot dog is a god tier hot dog, as far as I'm concerned.
You tell me if I'm betraying our roots, but
no. Well, chili dog always.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, sure. The chili dog is on the eternal pantheon.
Yeah, god tier hot dog.
But the Chicago dog is pretty good.
Chicago dog, for people who don't know, is like a slice of tomato, some pickles, some pickled peppers, that nuclear mint green relish. Usually it's a poppy seed bun and then mustard.
Yep. Oh, it's so
very good.
God, I want a
salad. So, Brad, we need next time we're down south, we need to go to Wiener. What we need to do is we need to go to Micro Center and Wiener Schnitzel.
Okay, that sounds like a day.
Wiener Schnitzel, they do 2 hot dogs, and you can get 1 Chicago and 1 chili dog.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's they don't do the poppy seed buns, and their relish isn't as green as I like for a real Chicago dog, but it's okay.
I've never been to a Wiener Schnitzel before, so maybe we should fix that.
Yeah.
What would you say is the quality of a Wiener Schnitzel? Like, can you compare it to a different fast food restaurant in terms of are we talking like
cleanliness?
Cleanliness, like quality of ingredients. Man. Is this? Is this a question I'm better off not asking?
No, I think Wiener Schnitzel,
Like Taco Bell?
I think better than your normal Taco Bell, probably.
Okay.
Because it's also a tasty like Wiener Schnitzels are also tasty freezes usually.
Ooh, okay.
So it's I would say it's generally cleaner than a Dairy Queen.
All right.
If that gives you anything.
Kind of.
Like not as good as like your In-N-Out or your Five Guys, your kind of fancy,
right?
But better than a Carl's Jr. usually.
Okay.
They're usually clean.
All right. That sounds good.
I don't know.
I mean, I would have gone regardless. I was just curious.
I mean, they're selling hot dogs, but I think they give you an all beef option on the hot dog. I think you can choose original premium beef or Polish as your hot dog choice.
Okay. We should make an afternoon out of this sometime.
Yeah, I'll go down there.
All right. Question from Wesley. I hate when website login buttons open a new tab for the login screen. Why would they do that? What possible benefit could it provide? Anyway, what small web or computer thing makes you irrationally angry?
Man, hey, let's have a pop-up window that doesn't have a bar so you can't use your password manager to log in easily.
Yep.
Those people just rot in hell.
Yep.
It's the worst thing you can do.
Yep. Agreed.
I hate when you install Windows.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot I don't like about the Windows installer these days.
Yep.
I hate that you have to jump through hoops to get a local account made. That makes me a little bit crazy. But what I really hate is that every time Windows does an install, it dumps 4 partitions on the drive that it touches.
Yep. Sure,
and if you need to reinstall Windows and you want to delete those 4 partitions, it's like click and then wait a minute and then click and then wait a minute and then click and then wait a minute and click and wait a minute. You can't just say, hey, wipe this entire drive.
I got a tip for you.
Oh, what's your tip?
You're going to be very excited here.
Okay.
Open. Well, hang on. Do you have to do this from outside of Windows? Or what are you?
This is during the install process for Windows. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case,
and
you would have to do this from within Windows. So actually, this would not save you any time because you're in the installer at that point.
Well, and you can't do it from the disk management panel because the recovery partitions and stuff are protected.
Right. Right. I was going to recommend the command line utility disk part.
I love disk part.
Okay.
Big fan.
You literally just select the right disk and disk part and then just run clean and it'll wipe the partition table.
I guess you could hit Shift F10, open up the terminal before you get to the partitioning page.
I bet you could disk part that thing. Yeah, I bet you could just wipe that thing.
Yeah.
Right out of existence.
Just wipe that thing.
Weird that a lot of our complaints seem to be Windows related lately. I fucking hate Windows taking away features. Like Windows 11 took away like half a dozen little UI tricks that I relied on.
Yep.
That I'm already forgetting what some of them were because it's been several months. It's been like a year or more now, and they're just gone. Like a lot of little window management stuff has vanished that was in Windows 10. They made a change recently where I use virtual desktops a lot. And it used to be that if you were on a virtual desktop and you didn't have an app running, like File Explorer is the one that I always run into. If the app was not running on that desktop and you clicked it on the taskbar, it would just launch a new window of it.
Yep, that's great.
Now, if you have File Explorer running on any other virtual desktop and you click that bare File Explorer, now it will transition you to the desktop where you already have File Explorer open and raise that window instead.
What's the point of having virtual desktops?
Doing? Yeah, right. What the fuck are you doing? These are supposed to be isolated workspaces. I want to launch this thing in the workspace that I'm in. I go back to a different workspace that I'm very intentionally not using right now.
I had a good one today. I've reached a point with the Linux desktop on the laptop that when I'm using my Windows machine, it feels like I'm going back in time.
Great. Okay. You're doing it.
I'm getting there.
All right.
Today I plugged in another monitor. And so I had 3 monitors. I wanted to mirror one of them because it's actually the monitor is a capture card. It doesn't matter. The point is, I plugged this in, I set it up, and when it did this, the duping, it put the display panel on a monitor, and it set the monitors diagonally touching at the corner, so you couldn't move the cursor from one monitor to the other,
except through a very tight window through the corner.
No window.
Not even through the corner. Wow.
I couldn't figure out how to get the cursor to the other monitor.
Right.
And every time it switched resolutions, it moved that back to the monitor that was inaccessible. And I was like, this is a Kafka-esque nightmare.
I'm just imagining yakety sax playing while you're trying to navigate this.
It literally took me 20 minutes. Like I was sitting here. The way I ended up fixing it was I was able to highlight the display settings panel on my main monitor, the one that I could access, right click it and go to the move setting and then move it with the cursor one notch and then wiggle the mouse. And then that locked my mouse cursor to the monitor that was otherwise inaccessible. But so then I could move the arrangement of the monitors so it worked and hit the keep it on this monitor button. But it was ridiculous. It was like, yeah. And I didn't like why it ended up diagonal. No idea. Super weird.
Good stuff. I just remembered
Windows is my answer.
Windows. Yes. I just remembered one of those features they took away from Windows 10. You used to be able to shift right click an application in the taskbar.
That doesn't work anymore?
Well, no. So there is a different menu that pops up now, but it's it's the same menu you get anyway, basically. They used to have a command or an option on that menu where if you had multiple windows open for a given application,
yeah,
if you shift right clicked, you could just minimize all those windows and then you could restore them back to their previous positions with another click. And they have completely just done away with that option.
One of my favorite KDE things, speaking of Linux, is the pull all the windows onto this monitor. Like you can just bind a keyboard shortcut to that.
Okay,
which is incredibly useful.
Yeah,
really good.
Weird how letting you customize the way you use your software somehow makes it more useful.
Sometimes it's a bit much. If you'd like to hear about that, you can go listen to the Dual Boot Diaries.
Yes. All right. Desmo 001 has a question that is a good follow-up to that question. Steam, the Epic Games Launcher, and the Xbox app all live in my system tray, and I launch them from there. Why do the first two require a double click to start while the Xbox app needs only a single click? So, like, inconsistent tray icon behavior is another one for me, for sure. Like, having to remember what needs a double click, what needs a single click, what I need to right click on to do anything useful with, like which applications minimize to the tray, which ones don't, like the tray is no man's land.
Well, this is what happens when you don't have somebody at like the OS headquarters saying, here are the rules for accessing this. And if you want to be on our platform, you have to follow these rules or else.
Standards.
I just realized this question made me realize that I never left click stuff in the tray. I always right click.
Interesting.
So then I go straight to a context menu that lets me open things automatically. Hey, I have another annoying thing.
Go on.
I don't like hardware that installs the drivers for you, whether you want it to or not. So, for example, at PC World, one of the things that we use on we have a Razer mouse on the bench that no matter if you plug it into a computer, it's going to install some Razer software, whether you want it to or not.
What the fuck? What is the mechanism that's triggering that?
I think it has a USB autoplay, but I don't know for sure. The inverse of this is something I quite like is ASUS now is dumping Driver Hub the same way they used to do Armory Crate and my ASUS.
Okay.
And that Driver Hub thing, if you haven't used it before, is basically like the Intel Driver Manager, the old one, in that it's just a little tiny front end that takes you to a web page. There's no heavy application running.
Oh, nice.
And it will install Norton and a bunch of other nonsense if you click the wrong button, but it also will do just your driver updates and like ME firmware and all that stuff if you need that. So
sounds like an improvement.
So that's pretty good. But like, hey, I don't want my mouse driver ever to install automatically a bunch of nonsense. I'm looking at you, Razer Chroma Hub, which is turning on a bunch of Razer garbage in my tray.
You talk about ways to convince me to never buy a Razer product. You have just done so.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Squibworth has a good question here. How often do you clean your keyboards? Like just wiping down the tops of the keys or doing a deep clean by popping the keys off, cleaning them, and getting everything underneath?
I have my handy dandy keyboard cleaning brush right here.
Oh, I need to get one of those.
And every time I look down, I'm like, oh, there's dust or cruft or like beard or whatever in the gaps of my keyboard.
Dander.
Yeah, dander. Like it gets a wipe. I do the keys. I have white keycaps. So when I look down and I'm like, oh yeah, there's some stuff on there, I pop them off and chuck them in the old ultrasonic cleaner for a few minutes and blast all the gunk off.
Does that keyboard brush get down like deeply in between the keys, or is that just for the like exposed areas where?
So on my drop control, I bought the one without the edges. Like it's just a flat surface with the keys sticking out of it. I can't remember what they call those, but it doesn't have there's no kind of like bezel around the keys, right? Mine is the same way. Yeah.
Like it's like keys all the way to the edges of the keyboard, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and there's no like rim around the edges of the keys on the edge of the keyboard. So it's just one plane, and then there's switches and then the caps on top of that. So I bought that specifically because I can get down in between the keycaps, and there's some place for the stuff to go when I brush it off.
Oh, okay.
And if I take the keycaps off, it's a piece of cake to get down in between.
Sure.
But then when I take the keycaps off, I usually get in with rubbing alcohol and and some Q-tips and do like clean off the areas that aren't normally visible underneath the keycaps.
I am coming up on a year since I switched to a mechanical keyboard, so I have an answer for this question too.
Yeah, how long has it been since you cleaned your mechanical keyboard, Brad?
About 6 months.
Okay.
I got a Keychron K5 Max, which I quite like a lot.
It's a good keyboard.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. About 6 months after I got it, I went and bought a second set of keys because I just wanted to change it up a little bit, you know?
That's the benefit.
The aesthetic quality of the mechanical keyboard, it turns out, is somewhat appealing. Anyway, I think I'm feeling like 6 months is like a good interval for me. I don't know. Is that gross?
I mean, this is why I bought the white keycaps, honestly, so I can tell.
See, mine are all dark, so I don't know. Like the set that came with it is like the stock Keychron, like gray.
Yeah.
With a couple of orange accents. And the ones I got are actually like a deep navy blue. So they're even harder to see if they're grimy, but maybe I'm better off not knowing.
I'm going to take a picture of my keycaps and I'm going to send it to you in Discord. And you can tell me. I'll give you the ESDF, ASDW, whatever. So you can see like the heavy
high
use,
traffic. Yes.
The deep business. I don't think it's that bad. It seems actually pretty good to me, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
And I did the last time I could probably cross-reference Blue Sky because I think every time I take the keycaps off and dump them in the ultrasonic cleaner, which I think you can't use that if you have double shot caps.
Yes,
if you have like specific,
certain types of like key printings will come off, right?
If you if there's stick-on labels, which like fancy keyboards wouldn't have, I guess, but if you have like the decal labels on an old style keyboard, they'll come off. And if you have double shot keycaps where there's literally 2 sets of injections, if there's any voids, the ultrasonic cleaner can make those voids get bigger and can cause them to separate.
Oh, that's not
which
good.
is obviously not desirable.
Yeah. I just when I bought this second set, I just chucked the first set in a bowl with some dish soap and just kind of
that'll work.
Agitated manually.
The ultrasonic cleaner does a really great job, but you know, be careful, I guess.
Yep.
So this looks yellow because of the light, but I think the caps they're clean. I don't see any finger gunk.
Doesn't look too bad.
I don't eat a whole lot in my computer.
I mean,
turns out also
they all look off white. Are they supposed to look that way?
They are. I mean, that's the light that that you're sitting at. It needs to be white balance.
That's
probably
acceptable. That's just on this side of acceptable, I'm going to say.
Yeah, like the C and the F. There's a little bit of dust on the sides, is what I'm seeing in the close up. And it's probably getting close to time. Let's say.
All right. Oh, okay. I'm glad you flagged this email or this question because I wasn't going to, but I wanted to hear about it. From Plant a Plant. For Will, I remember when the Maximum PC No BS podcast number 100 hit, where you went with a musical format. I thought it was pretty funny and special. Then I realized a bunch of people hated it. Can you go into more detail into how that planning went, how the team came up with that idea and the whole recording process? It must have been really funny having a bunch of nerds singing their way through a musical podcast. Thanks for all these years of information and laughs.
So at that point, Kat Auk, who is Dan Amrich of Palette Swap Ninja's partner, was one of our art directors, and Dan Amrich was working at OXM just across the hall.
God, OXM, this must have been a while ago.
So yeah, this was in 2009, probably.
Oh, wow. Okay.
50. It was 100 episodes. So it was 2008 or 2009, probably. And I at some point somebody said something stupid like, "Man, it would be really funny if we did a musical episode for the 100th episode of the magazine." And it's the kind of thing that normally you say, and it's like a one-off, and then like nobody ever thinks about it again. But sometimes like things go in the wormhole. And Dan, so for folks who don't know, Dan and Kat and Palette Swap Ninja is a partnership. They do Dan and his friend Jude started Palette Swap Ninja, and they do like Weird Al style parody video game songs. But then a few years ago, they did a Sgt. Pepper Star Wars crossover called Princess Leia's Stolen Death Star Plans to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Got it.
And they rewrote all of the songs from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band to tell the story of Star Wars. It's
a lot.
It's really good. Like they spent an incredible amount of time on it. They actually did a full live recording at Berkeley at the Symphony with an orchestra and the whole thing. Like it's very good and very stupid, like in the best possible way. But Kat was like, "Oh, if you guys want to do a musical episode, like Dan and I will help write the songs." And suddenly the hard part was done.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So we did a rock opera version of one of our interns or associate editors needing to buy a new computer.
Okay.
Like his quest to get a new computer because his computer sucked.
Okay.
And we pulled a bunch of people in to help with it. And we did like 6 songs or something. And then we fucked up the backing track and posted it with the backing track for the wrong key for like half of the songs because we had multiple versions of the backing track.
That went out live? And
it went out. And also, I don't know if you know, sometimes computer nerds are fairly humorless, so they didn't get the joke.
Sure. Okay.
Fair. And they were like, why, if I wanted to hear people sing badly, I could just go listen to myself in the shower. And we're like, well, fair, but you know, sometimes you swing and you miss, sometimes you swing and you hit.
Like,
I still think it was funny. Yeah, it was very funny. The high point, Nathan Edwards of The Verge these days did a really, he took on the scariest part because he sang Bohemian Rhapsody basically.
Wow.
And then Veronica Belmont of Revision 3 and CNET, I think, fame. And also she does a science fiction podcast called Science Fiction Fantasy Podcast with Tom Merritt called oh God, I can't remember. Robot. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It looks like she was at Techzilla at the time because I have found this podcast on archive.org.
She was at Techzilla and was doing was also working for the PS4 digital thing that we made at Future called Core. But yeah, she sang the song from the end of Portal, a version of that.
Okay. Features the talents of Dan Amrich, Kat Ock, Captain Spaulding, Norman Chan, Nathan Edwards, Gordon Ma-Ung.
Yeah.
Will Smith, Jeremy Williams, and very special guest, Texilla's Veronica. I need to hear Gordon sing.
Gordon didn't sing.
He did not?
No.
He's spoken word?
Spoken word.
Gordon seems more like a spoken word kind of guy.
Look, it started as a normal podcast that broke into song. It was high concept. Yeah.
I clicked play on this after I found it, and then you were talking in my ears while you were talking in my ears. And
that'll happen.
That was not something I could deal with. So I have not.
Could you hear the miles?
I have not listened to this yet.
Did I sound fresh faced and young?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's fun. I will put that in the show notes. People need to know. I had no idea that you guys had done that. That's pretty wild.
It was, I mean, look, it was a different time. It was before Serial came out. The podcast, by this point, podcasts had already had one big boom cycle and we're already failing again. Like people at the company were yelling at us to stop wasting our time with podcasts so you'd never be able to monetize.
That is the common experience of doing a podcast in the late 2000s.
And also when we posted in the wrong key, I was afraid to post the fixed one because like it would have cost us double the money for that episode because we were paying for distribution. And yeah, so anyway,
rough.
Yeah, I feel really bad. Poor Nathan took the brunt of it because he ended up sang it right and then we put the wrong backing track on it and it was anyway, mistakes were made.
Yeah.
No fault of anybody's but mine. I should have held it and not posted it.
Should we call it there?
Yeah, sure.
Shall we call it there?
You don't want to answer questions about macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, we could take that. Yeah, we do have a Patreon. Yeah. We have a Patreon episode coming up, and
that's true.
We might bank a few of these for that this weekend.
I mean, yeah, like we usually save the nonsense for the Patreon episode.
That's true. And we could do a couple more here.
I just needed to stall a second because I didn't open the list of producers. So
perfectly fair. All right. Well, now I will read this macaroni and cheese question from Fishy J. Is macaroni and cheese called MAC because it's short for macaroni, or is it because MAC is an acronym for macaroni and cheese?
I had never, ever considered this before.
Nor had I. I'm going to say it's short for macaroni in my mind.
Yeah, in my head, it's short for macaroni, but I like the acronym version better. I feel like it would be capitalized if it was if it was an acronym, though.
Capitalized and or periods, I think, would really set that off a little better.
I also think about, this is the second time this has come up this week, but the sitcom that Matt LeBlanc's character was on in Friends called Mac and Cheese, where he was a human and his cop buddy was a robot, I think, called Cheese.
Okay.
I don't know. That's all I know.
All right.
Came up on the live stream yesterday.
Some deep Friends knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that'll do it for us this month.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to read one more here.
Oh,
since we're talking about food. RK Harris 62. What's your go-to Waffle House order?
Slathered, smothered, and covered.
What is slathered?
I think it has salsa on it.
Oh, really?
Waffle House.
I can never keep that's just hash browns, though. I mean, like total order, though.
I mean, you need more than just hash brown?
Yeah, while you look that up, I will say I think you can't go wrong with the All-Star Special. That was what I always got. But I would say 90% of my Waffle House visits in my life were while I was in college at 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah, always 3 a.m.
Fairly inebriated. So,
on the way down, one or the other.
Yes. So All-Star Special was kind of like the big breakfast, and that's like kind of what you need in that state, I would say.
There was a Waffle House that was right down the street from the bar that I like to go to, and it was on the walking path between the bar and my apartment, or my dorm, I guess. So I would roll into there, and I don't know if people like, dark business happens in Waffle House after bars close. It doesn't matter where you are.
Oh yeah,
it's after the time that the bars close.
Oh, it's become a whole thing on social media. I don't know if you've seen
the 3 a.m. thing.
There's been this campaign. Harada, the producer of the Tekken series, like regularly fields questions on Twitter these days.
Okay,
people have been trying to get him to put Waffle House in as a background in the next Tekken for a long time now.
Oh, I heard about this from video game podcast Nextlander, I believe.
He seems somewhat receptive to the idea.
One of my dream, like if I could get sponsored to do something really, really stupid, I would fly people that I want to have interesting conversations with, and I would set up a recording booth in like the corner booth at a Waffle House at like 2 a.m.
Oh,
and we would just record a podcast that starts there, and we just chat and eat some Waffle House.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens.
Make it about 2:30.
Yeah,
make it about 30 minutes after whenever the local jurisdiction's liquor laws require bars to close.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I like scattered, smothered, and covered is the thing.
Do you have just a good list?
So I don't think they have a menu.
Maybe they do.
Hold on, here we go.
The waffle or the hash brown preparation was like kind of a secret, like you have to be in the know kind of thing, right?
No, it's just on the menu.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's no secret menu at Waffle House. Are you kidding?
It's been a while.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it's shockingly difficult to find a Waffle House menu. Here we go. This location is a different time zone than me. That's fine. Hash browns. Oh, they do bowls now. That's wild.
Hash brown bowls?
It's like a KFC shame bowl, but with hash browns as the base instead of.
I've got it.
Okay.
Smothered sauteed onions.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Covered melted cheese.
American cheese. It's important to note.
Like smothered and covered is like the classic preparation, right? Like that's the one everybody refers to, but I don't think I want cheese on my hash browns.
I like a cheese. It depends on whether I'm having like a runny egg. If I want a runny egg, then the cheese is good.
Now some sausage gravy, I would absolutely. Chunked is grilled hickory smoked ham.
Nope.
Diced, nope. What?
No ham.
Dude.
I don't like ham.
Diced is grilled tomatoes.
Those are good.
Peppered is spicy jalapeno peppers.
That's fine.
What non-spicy jalapeno peppers do they have in mind? Capped is grilled button mushrooms. I've never heard of that one.
That's a new one.
Get them capped. Get them smothered and capped.
Yeah.
Topped has Bird's chili.
I've never been brave enough to order that, if I'm being honest.
Last item on the menu, the one I've been waiting for, country sausage gravy.
So I would do scattered, smothered, and covered hash browns with 2 or 3 sunny side up eggs, and then either biscuits or English muffins, depending on how I'm feeling.
I'd get
and bacon.
Country smothered in country, I think might be enough for me.
I'm a little skeptical about their gravy, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, actually, I'd have to maybe verify. Trust but verify the sausage gravy at Waffle House.
The other one I do, the pecan waffle, pretty good.
Okay.
The pecans get all toasted up in the waffle, and you put a butter and your maple syrup and stuff, or air quote maple syrup on there.
Yep.
The great Southern commentator Louis Grizzard.
Oh yeah. Oh my dude, there are so many Louis Grizzard books in my parents' house. You have no idea.
His daily column in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, or weekly column in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, got repurposed into a bunch of books, and those books are exactly bathroom reading length. I mean, the columns are exactly bathroom reading length.
Yep. I think Louis Grizzard is probably one of my dad's favorite human beings. I mean,
I can see that. He was a Waffle House aficionado, also taken before his time. Weird coincidence there.
Yeah, weird. Actually, I was just looking him up last month when I was home because all those books were around. I think he had like a congenital heart defect or something.
Yeah, he did. So,
but I'm sure the lifestyle did not help.
He famously broke the news that Waffle House sold more steaks than anybody else in the country.
Huh.
Because that T-bone deal is a classic. I'm going to make a bad decision meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway,
I've now landed back on. We should just end this podcast.
Yeah.
I've now landed back on the now classic Twitter thread from 4 years ago of the guy who lost the bet and had to spend an entire 24 hours in a Waffle House.
Oh, that one was great.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was following along with that one live. That was a pretty, having been to Waffle House myself, that was a pretty exciting situation.
The guy, yeah, it was a sad tale. Well, it's apparently that's a common, you lost your fantasy football team.
Really?
Your fantasy football, like first person in the fantasy football league gets money. Last person has to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House.
I forgot about the key rule, the key component of this situation that made it interesting. Coming to you live from a Brandon, Mississippi Waffle House, blah, 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 spend 24 hours. Every waffle I eat shaves an hour off the clock.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
That was, having eaten a fair number of those waffles, I can't imagine going back in for more. But anyway, if anybody wants to sponsor my take interesting people to Waffle House, fly them to Waffle House. Mm-hmm. I remember at one point during the pandemic, you and I think Austin Walker and I were sitting in Discord, having not seen other human faces for ages.
I remember that.
Coming up with ways, like trying to figure out what the most equidistant Waffle House was, so we could meet. Yep. Have a meal and then just leave. Just
go our separate ways.
We had to, like the TLDRs, we would have to drive to Nebraska, I think, which was maybe too far.
Yep.
But that's as good a place as any to leave it. If you want to sponsor a Waffle House podcast or send us email, you can do it at techpod@content.town. I'd also love to know if people are having the left ear problem with Pocket Casts on the web.
Yeah. Yep. Same. Waffle House, if you're listening, reach out.
Yeah, please do.
Now's the time.
We love you.
Cracker Barrel, very down on its luck right now. You've got golden opportunity here.
Yeah, like if Waffle House doesn't take advantage of this is the first good non-hurricane related Waffle House news in years. So let's lean into that.
Yep.
We'll be back next week with more episodes. As always, Brad and Will Made a Tech Pod is listener supported with the possible exception of Waffle House. If you would like to support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/techpod. Again, that's patreon.com/techpod. Sorry, I had a hiccup there. And we, as always, we thank all of our patrons. We love all of you. Thank you all so much, because we wouldn't get to do this without you.
We would not.
But a very, very special thank you to our executive producer tier patrons, including Andrew Slosky, Bunny Fiend's good friend Yabs. Shout out to Yabs. David Allen, James Kamek, Jason Lee, Jordan Lippett, Twinkle Twinkie, and Pantheon, makers of the HS3 high-speed 3D printer. It's the end of the month, so that means we also give a special shout out to our associate producer tier patrons, including Alejandro Navarro, Andre M. Burke, PE, Andrew Dicey Scholdice, Arthur Gies, Ben Tallman, Brutal Kerfluffle, Eric, Felix Kramer, Graham Banks, Jad Rita, Just Associate Wedge, Kerp, Matt Walker, parentheses Walkman 8080, close parentheses, Nathan Phelps, P. Tibbs, Sanchit Kumar, Steve Lynn, Thomas Shea, Tom Fuller, and Tom Hilton. Thank you also so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And that'll do it for us this month. this week, rather. We'll be back next week with another edition of the Tech Pod.
Yes. In fact, we'll be back like any minute now. Let's see, I believe
May even be out already.
Posting day for this podcast is also the last day of the month, so the Patreon episode might also be out the same day.
I hope it's already out.
We might have it done before then.
Yeah, but yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week with another edition of the Tech Pod. As always, please consider the podcast before printing this environment.